Have you ever wondered why you repeatedly question your worth, avoid risks, or shrink in moments when you should shine? The hidden culprit could be shame, specifically childhood shame. Welcome to Liam on Life, where we explore life's biggest questions through psychology that's raw, real, and free. In today's episode, we're confronting a silent but powerful force: childhood shame. If you've ever felt like your confidence vanished somewhere along the way, or that you're carrying invisible weight from the past, this episode is for you. Two days ago, I met up with an old childhood friend, John. We hadn't seen each other in years. We sat down at a coffee shop to catch up, just two old friends reconnecting. The place was hosting a small raffle, and John ended up winning a prize. But when he went up to accept it, something unexpected happened. He froze. He stood there, uncomfortable, lost for words, clearly overwhelmed by being the center of attention. Eventually, I stepped up to speak on his behalf, just to ease the tension. That moment stayed with me. You see, John used to be that kid who lit up the school stage. He was vibrant, expressive, and confident. So, I asked him, "Are you okay? What happened?" And that's when he shared something deeply personal. When he hit puberty, his voice cracked. His classmates started mocking him. What seemed like playful teasing at the time deeply scarred him. The ridicule became relentless. He withdrew. His parents even moved him to another school to help him recover. But something in him dimmed. That bright, outgoing kid faded into someone who feared being seen. What happened to John wasn't just embarrassment. It was shame. And there's a key difference. Embarrassment is temporary. Shame lingers. Shame isn't about what you did. It convinces you there's something wrong with who you are. As Brené Brown defines it, shame is the belief that you're unworthy of love and belonging. John Bradshaw called this toxic shame, the internalized message that your core self is flawed. That belief, once rooted, becomes a lens through which you see everything. And like John, many of us carry it without even realizing. Now, let's unpack this deeper. How exactly does childhood shame translate into adult dysfunction? First, it sabotages confidence. Children are hypersensitive to social feedback. When a child is repeatedly shamed, whether for being loud, sensitive, different, or simply being themselves, they begin to monitor, edit, and suppress parts of who they are. That suppression doesn't disappear in adulthood. It becomes anxiety, imposter syndrome, and people-pleasing. Second, it distorts self-worth. Adults with unprocessed childhood shame often believe they must earn love. They seek validation through achievement or perfectionism. They stay in toxic relationships because they think it's all they deserve. Or worse, they reject kindness, fearing it's a trick. Third, it poisons relationships. Shame leads to emotional armor. If you're convinced that you're unlovable, you'll either avoid deep connection or sabotage it. Vulnerability feels unsafe. Intimacy becomes a battlefield between craving love and fearing exposure. And here's the thing. Childhood shame isn't always the result of extreme trauma. It often stems from 1,000 tiny moments. Teachers who shamed you for speaking up. Parents who only showed affection when you succeeded. Peers who mocked your uniqueness. As someone who studies behavior and emotion deeply, I've worked with high-functioning adults who have no idea why they struggle with self-doubt, emotional burnout, or persistent loneliness. And when we trace it back, we often find a younger version of them, alone, scared, and ashamed. And maybe, like John, you don't talk about that version of you. Maybe you've buried them, but healing starts when you listen. So, how do we start healing? 1. Name it. As Brené Brown says, shame cannot survive being spoken. Begin by identifying shame triggers. When do you feel small, undeserving, ashamed? Notice what situations bring those feelings to the surface. Criticism from a boss, rejection in a relationship, being the center of attention. These moments are often echoes of early wounds. Say it out loud, I feel shame right now. It might feel awkward, but it breaks the silence shame needs to survive. 2. Challenge the story. Every belief you carry has an origin. Ask yourself, who told me I wasn't enough? What was happening in their life? Were they speaking from love or from their own pain? Shame thrives in unchallenged narratives. Take time to journal those beliefs, then actively dispute them. If someone said you were too sensitive, ask, what if sensitivity is actually strength? Reframe those old labels into truths that honor who you are. 3. Practice self-compassion. Self-compassion isn't about self-pity. It's about treating yourself the way you'd treat a hurting friend. Say, this is hard, but I'm doing my best. Say, I'm allowed to be human. Kristen Neff's studies show that self-compassion reduces anxiety and builds resilience. But it takes practice. Create daily rituals, like placing your hand over your heart when you feel overwhelmed, or writing yourself a kind note. These small acts slowly rewire how you speak to yourself. 4. Reconnect with your younger self. That younger version of you, the one who got laughed at, ignored, or punished, still exists inside. You don't need to become them again, but you do need to acknowledge them. Find a photo of yourself at the age when shame started. Sit with it. What does that child need to hear? Speak it out loud. You didn't deserve what happened. You were always enough. This kind of reparenting allows healing to begin from the inside out. 5. Allow connection. Shame tells you to hide. Connection tells you it's okay to be seen. Start small. Share something real with someone safe. Maybe you admit you've been struggling, or open up about a time you felt invisible. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's strength in action. Every time you connect honestly, you shrink the power of shame and build a space where your authentic self can breathe. That's a wrap for today on Liam on Life. We've explored how childhood shame can quietly shape your confidence, your self-worth, and your relationships. And more importantly, how to take back your power. This isn't about erasing the past. It's about reclaiming your story. Here's your next step. Pick one moment, one thought, or one memory that still weighs on you. Look at it with new eyes. Challenge it. Talk back to it. Let it know you're not that scared kid anymore. If this resonated with you, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment. What's one belief from your childhood you're ready to let go of? I'll be in the comments, reading every one. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Right here on Liam on Life, where we keep it raw, real, and free.